You're watching Lansdowne Raw, the voice of the fans. Welcome to the show. Join me, Martin Prendergast and Conor McAvoy as we preview Ireland taking on Senegal on Friday evening. Join us for the most interactive football podcast out there. It's Lansdowne Raw and it's live. How are you getting on, Conor? Are you looking forward to the games?
I'm good. I'm not looking forward to listening to that music any longer. I hate that. I can't stand it. But yeah, I'm good. It's good to be back on, especially with no Dave on the show as always. It's always good. And you had a new intro there. The most interactive football podcast has changed from Irish football podcast to just podcasts in general. So I'm good.
We want to be tonight. That's what we want to be tonight. We are the most interactive football podcast out there. I've looked over Twitter, I've looked over Facebook and Instagram, and I can't see any interactive football podcast going on tonight. So we are the most interactive football podcast out there. And as I said, we are going to preview Ireland taking on Senegal on Friday. So we want to hear from you, the Raw faithful. Are you going to the game? Are you off to Dublin on Friday for a 7:45 kickoff at the Aviva Stadium, obviously Lansdowne Road? Myself and Conor, we're going to give you later on the team actually we think that Heimer's going to pick. And we're also going to discuss what we have selected. So we want to hear from you, the Raw faithful, as we are the most interactive football podcast out there, Irish football podcast, of course. We want to hear from you and what your opinions are from Heimer's, obviously, panel, what you think he's going to go with for this key game against Senegal. I'm looking forward to it. I'm not traveling over for the game. I'm going off to Luxembourg next week, of course. It's a poor show from me, I know. But Conor and Dave will have everything covered from you inside the stadium before the game with the preview. Once we get the team news, obviously live from inside the stadium. So make sure you are subscribed to the channel. That's how you get informed that the show is live. And you can give your views and immediate feedback from inside the stadium to Conor and David on whether you think Heimer's selection is correct or what you're expecting to see. So we are looking forward to sharing those magical moments from you inside the stadium. Dave, lanyard as well around his neck, I'm sure will be there and doing us all proud, of course, of you, Conor, while you're, absolutely in awe as Josh Keeley walks out for his first international senior squad.
Don't be getting your hopes up like that, because we're not expecting him to start either of the games. So that would be good if he came on after like 60 minutes. But I don't know if to do that in senior football, do they? To bring a keeper, maybe they might bring it.
They do. They do make substitutions, and you could get injuries this time of year as well.
So you hoping for an injury? Are you hoping for an injury?
No, I'm not. No, I'm just saying on the back of Caoimhín Kelleher's confirmed move to Brentford from Liverpool. Fantastic move for him. Do check out, as I said, subscribe to the show, because you can go back and have a look at all of our recent videos. We've got a lot of content out there recently. Myself, David and Conor sat down as soon as that was announced, that deal went through. We had a chat about it, how we think that's going to work out for Caoimhín. So fantastic for him. A big flying visit. I did notice actually something on the FAI communications channels and things like that. The little clip was very funny of Heimer talking to Nathan Collins, our commander-in-chief, and saying, yeah, you've just signed a very good goalkeeper. And, we shouldn't say it on TV, though, should we? And very good little clip, that. But, yeah, I am looking forward to watching it, because although I'm not going to be in Dublin, I'm looking forward to, obviously, catching the preview show with you from inside the stadium. And it also is quite refreshing sometimes when you go to a lot of games, as we do. It's quite nice sometimes to see kind of the punditry, kind of the kind of things you don't see from inside the stadium. You can lose a lot from actually being at the game. So
you forget half what happens when you're in the ground. The reality is, there's so many games that, like, I can remember more games from 10 years ago, a lot more easy off head. I can remember games over the last 3-4 years that are, especially when you're in the press box, because you'll be thinking of so many different things at once, and you go back to look at the screen and you end up missing something. So it's hard to keep up with everything, but I guess it's the beauty of being in the ground, and things always look so different on TV, don't they? And when you're in person, it's so much more like an actual TV show, and it is really when you're watching it on TV.
Yeah, of course. And you I don't know actually who's on media duty tomorrow and pundit duty, but I've seen some laughable kind of things sometimes of the co-commentators, what they're actually seeing isn't what I'm seeing. And what they kind of want to happen is a lot more that obviously does. But as I said, we see some of your comments coming in already. We will get through to all of those. We want to hear from you. Who do you want to see starting in Heimer's team on Friday? we're going to put the squad up there. We're just going to remind everyone of the squad. So this is the squad for the Island Games coming up against Senegal on Friday, the 6th of June. And obviously then away to Luxembourg, where myself, Conor, and Dave are going to be on international duty, traveling across Europe to Luxembourg. So we go in with the goalkeepers for this squad is Quivin Kelleher, Max O'Leary, Josh Keeley. Defenders Robbie Brady, Nathan Collins, Matt Doherty, Josh Honohan, Jake O'Brien, Andrew Omobamidele, Darragh O'Shea and Liam Scales. Midfielders from Jason Knight, Killian Phillips, Will Smallbone, Jack Taylor, John Joe, Patrick Finn and Andrew Moran. And then the forwards are classed as Ryan Manning, Bestia Basele, Evan Ferguson, Adam Eder and Casey McAteer, and finally Troy Parrott. So a decent squad, as we spoke about again on some of our previous shows. We've done a chat about Senegal and what we expect to see from them, and also Luxembourg. And but we do want to hear from you this evening on our live show. Almost 500 of you watching this evening, so thanks for your support. Make sure you have subscribed and and get your comments in on who you think you'd like to see starting. But we're going to start with this nice news, I think, from the camp. I mean, Conor, you've been up in Abbottstown the last few days covering the press conferences, and we've got some clips on our socials on that. But a kind of day off from media duties today, and a quite nice thing I think happened today was that Robbie Brady was announced as the senior men's team international player of the year, and that's the second time he's won it.
Wait, hold on a second here.
Yeah.
Did he not retire?
Well, this is speculation on that, wasn't it? He was called out, and there was speculation, and someone did say, I can't see him ever playing for Ireland again, and it was our very own David Dunn. That did happen on a previous show. He has also recently gone there a little bit with Seamus as well. He does like stating facts.
Facts?
He does like stating facts, so he says. So yeah. That was,
the only thing he does, the only thing he doesn't do, he doesn't F around. That's the only thing he doesn't do. But in terms of stating facts, I think it's April Fool's Day, is it now, Martin? Because this is not the David Dunn me and you know. The real David Dunn was involved with the under-17s today. But
right.
Thank God that it's actually great, I think, that our David Dunn is no longer the most famous David Dunn involved in Irish football. I think it's great.
Right.
Do you?
Yeah,
I think it's absolutely brilliant.
Back under the rock, please. Back under the rock. Back in the shadows, where he dwells.
But Martin, I have a question for you. Do you think Robbie Brady deserved Player of the Year? Because I've seen a lot of people saying, "Oh my God, how did Robbie Brady win it?" Because a lot of people, I think, thought this was an Ireland Player of the Year based off club form, but in all reality, it was from last June until really the end of Nations League, wasn't it? So so I think people were getting confused. But did you think over the last year he's been the best player for Ireland?
He's been very consistent, and fair play to him. He has got back in, and he's quite pivotal now to us. I mean, look, it's a problem area, the left hand side, as we know. I did see John O'Shea announce the award, didn't he, to him, and presented it to him. But who was the other two candidates for it?
It was Collins and Kelleher. Kelleher, I thought, was probably been the most consistently brilliant every single game. I know he had that one slip up against Greece, but that was the game was done. But Collins, I remember last March. I would say last March Collins was brilliant. Last June he was all right, but then it kind of slipped away from him since. I'm surprised he was nominated. Brady, obviously, he had that magic moment away to Finland, which was probably the best, would you say, individual performance by an Irish player, because he got the goal and assist to get that big win. But the thing is, who would you throw in that hat as well? Because the thing is, Azaz was quite late coming in because it wasn't really a full year. Fessy the same, because it was more quite late. Like Ogbene injured. Who else could you? Darragh O'Shea maybe, or even think. Oh, but yeah, I was going to say Doherty, but it's kind of only been the last couple of games he's been consistent. Before that, it wasn't. But there's been no real standard. I thought Kelleher probably was the most obvious pick. Do you think that?
Yeah, I would agree with you to some extent with that. I mean, but it comes down to, I mean, I know I've said this on the show before. You know, I think it's more in the Irish psyche a little bit. We just latch onto moments and we remember those. And I think, you know, it's like he got that because of a fantastic performance. You know, like we always rave about the goal scorer. So even in the women's game last night, Murphy scored and she gets player of the match. We just latch on to the kind of success, and I think even with even you think of like even the GAA, like someone who scores loads and loads of points or goals in All Irelands, they get the man of the match kind of thing, and it might not be the player who's actually ran the show or whatever. It's kind of moments and heroes from that. So I think Brady, without doubt, that moment would have put him up there for that. So and maybe the others haven't been as consistent, but it's crazy for a player who, I mean, probably Dave, when he saw that announced, he probably thought that was like a Hall of Fame award or anything, because as he said, Robbie Brady retired. He retired him. So.
But Martin, we have a clip of Robbie Brady actually accepting the award today, which actually was a good bit of entertainment for all Irish fans.
Senegal, we had Queeveen, Nathan and Robbie Brady nominated for the Senior Men's Team Player of the Year, and the winner deservedly so, Mr. Robbie Brady.
Oh, listen, lads. This is brilliant. I didn't expect to win it, so show some use of all being a winner. No, listen. Obviously, I was out of camp for a while. Delighted to get myself back in, and I'm buzzing with this. So thanks for everything and help me pick this up. Fair play to you.
There,
brilliant. I mean, I love seeing that. I mean, and to be fair to Robbie Brady, there was times when he was out of squads, and he was kind of like the 24th, 25th back on standby for Ireland, and he, curtailed family holidays and came back and was part of it. And a huge admiration for Robbie Brady. He's one of my favourite Ireland players because he promised so much to Man United coming through, and just injuries kind of robbed him of a kind of career at United, I think, in some respects. And
or even just being a foot, like if it wasn't for injuries, probably still be playing in the Premier League. Like,
yeah, that's it. I mean, but absolute quality. I mean, and in different playing areas of the pitch as well. I think he's been absolutely brilliant for Ireland, and those amazing moments we obviously have from 2016. So yeah, fantastic, and it shows the humour and the kind of bond within the camp there that they're doing all that because. And I think interestingly from that, it just shows how involved. I mean, maybe it's not a surprise, but John O'Shea, keeping that kind of continuity going through of how they all interact within the camp. Some of those little kind of team meetings, and they have a bit of crack as well. You have to lighten it up, I think, for the players there because it is difficult being on international duty, away from family and things like that. And holidays. I know it's their profession, but I like that as well, to seeing that kind of interaction between them. So fantastic. Yeah. Before we go on, sorry, go on.
Martin, you did say Murphy scored last night. It was Saoirse Noonan scored for the women's team last night. She's the first player to score in both code. Well, you wouldn't say codes because that's what you're saying, Gaelic and hurling, but it scored first player to score in Gaelic and football across both sports in Páirc Uí Chaoimh, which is a good stat to have, in fairness.
I did see that. Yeah, apologies for getting that wrong. I did see she got player of the match though, didn't she, Emily Murphy? I thought she was excellent in the game. Fantastic. And I mean, just on the women quickly. I mean, they blew it, didn't they, early on in that Nations League campaign, and but I know they were pushing to try and get 4 goals and stuff. But I'm amazed that they play that. I know why they're bringing it down to Cork and things like that. Denise O'Sullivan, there is a factor with that, trying to get support from the big following that Denise has. But I'm amazed. I mean, they should be doing. I'd rather them make a fortress and consistently sell out the numbers somewhere else, like Tala, because I think it would have made an impact last night because it's too far away, that GAA pitch.
I've said this so many times, but people want about bring international senior matches and for the men's side down to Páirc Uí Chaoimh. Yeah, it would sell out, but it would be so. But there'd be no atmosphere. It's not because of Cork people, because when you see the 21s, the Turner's Cross is brilliant. But if you look how far away behind the goals is from the stand behind the goal, which would be where you'd really want the atmosphere to come from, it's ridiculously far away. It's a bit like a worse version of the West Ham Stadium. You can't generate atmosphere at all. You just can't play a football at a GAA stadium unless it's some. I don't know if there's some way you can bring in fake stands that you can make it like a lower way behind the goals, but that would be impossible at Páirc Uí Chaoimh. So, like, it is, unless there was a way with the women's team that you could shut off the 2 goals behind the net, or the 2 stands behind the nets, and pack the two sides of the pitch. But no, I think it is very like, and I've heard Katie McCabe say in the past about that they didn't really want to play in the Viva, because as good as it is to play in the Viva, they know they're not going to sell it out. And why would you want to go to a ground that's half empty, can't really produce much atmosphere, whether you can go to Tala, and like that has been their home ground for years and years, and really make it a fortress and really make it on top of the other team. Like, because I know people going on about numbers and generate money, but the real way of generating revenue is qualifying for tournaments, and for getting the tournaments, them little 1% of having a better tight knit stadium with a crowd on top of you make it all the difference.
Yeah, I think that's the point. I mean, look, we're talking about this now, and obviously we want to hear from you, the Royal Faithful. But this is a good point. Like Kieran says, Rome and Stade de France are miles away from the pitch as well, and no one says anything bad about them grounds. Personally speaking, when I'm at a ground and I'm up in a stand and there's a big running track, you're not engaged with even the playing staff, the management and stuff like that. They're far away from everything. You can't be that hostile. I think that was the case with. Was it Iceland, Finland recently, wasn't it?
Finland. It wasn't that bad. I didn't think it wasn't
that bad there. No, it wasn't bad. It was well designed, that one. But some of these stadiums, you are, like, I've been to Rome, been to Stade de France. You are miles away from it, and it does impact the atmosphere. I think. I certainly think, and with all due respect, when you talk about them, those grounds are selling out for internationals.
Yeah.
What was there? 9,500, and a lot of them tickets would have been given away. Let's be honest. So they should. My personal view, I think they should be there in Tala, make that fortress, because I've been at Tala watching the Irish women's team, and it's a great atmosphere, and the stands are kind of small and tight knit, and it's decent. So that's what they should do, because I think that will impact them on getting results. Because there could have been a lot of pressure there on them yesterday with just the fans. The ball coming back quickly for throw-ons and corners and things like that. That's what you want, that intensity. So So right. Go on.
Before we go into the men's team for today, because I'm guessing that's what you were about to go into there. Just something that we seen: the Ireland under-17s played Norway under-18s today in preparation for the World Cup. They lost 4-1 in the end, which, in fairness, you always want to win matches, but when you're playing a team and the age group up, and there was players from the Ireland side, including a lad named David Dunn and like Victor Rosenvula, who are 2 years younger than the Norwegians. So it was always going to be a difficult game. They equalised to make it 1-1, and it seemed Norway then got a few late goals really just to seal it at the end. But I think it's worth noting this moment of absolute magic from Jade Numa today. Martin, this will be your first time seeing the goal. It's well worth seeing. Hopefully it comes up enough that you can see it in the screen, but it is well worth seeing.
Look at my eyes, tell me your tale. Do you see the road? I'm out to my soul. Tell me the size whenever the smoke clear out of my face. And my picture perfect. Do I look fried? All of that green and yellow that drip. Yeah.
So a moment of pure magic from, as I said, probably our best talent in Irish football. And we were talking the other night about fast tracking lads to a senior team, and if there's anyone we're going to fast track, I think he's probably the number one option. Although people say fast track him right now, I think that's a bit premature because he's still only playing under 19 for Benfica. But I think if he's involved with their first team in pre-season, and if he's even with their B team next season, which is the second tier of Portugal, so it is a high standard, I think, because you get a lad in like that, and the thing is, if they do well with if they're even brought into an Ireland team, it puts a lot of pressure on Benfica to think, we need to fastest track this lad into our senior team as well, because you'd have club after club then would start coming in from saying, we'll give you first team football right now. And a team like Benfica with their record of young players, it will put a lot of pressure on them. So hopefully we'll see big things from him. So hopefully he's still with under 17s for the World Cup, because I know it'll be during the season as such. So it'll be if a club doesn't want to release a player for whatever reason, if he's in the senior squad, like if he's in Benfica's first team, the reality is they won't release him to play an under 17 World Cup. But if he's maybe in the B team or in their 23s, you think they still would. But yeah, just thought I'd show that just as something that Irish fans can, people who don't see the social media stuff sometimes, show that to them.
Cracking little goal. And did you you've put that up on your rep tracker? Yeah.
It is. It's on rep.
Nice little segue in there. Nice little segue. So make sure you do follow on all platforms at Rep Tracker. Also ourselves at @LRaw_pod on X. And obviously follow us as well and subscribe to the show so you get notifications of when we're doing these shows. You can go back through the entire back catalogue, including some really good interviews with Irish players over the past few years. And we had one with Liam Brady. And that brings me nicely into a little advertisement and promo for our upcoming live event, which is taking place on Friday the 20th of June in northwest London at the Cladder Ring, a great Galway pub there. Really greatly supportive of the podcast, and we had a fantastic weekend over there in November for the weekend of the England game, although the result obviously didn't go away. But we've got David Ford, former Ireland goalkeeper, absolute legend. We've got him coming to do a Q&A with us, and he's also going to be signing copies of his book called Being the One. I've read the book, absolutely brilliant. It's the most amazing story. If you think you know about David Ford, some incredible stories in there. A very hard man, let's just say, and not without controversy, his career, but fantastically resilient to be able to finally kind of see his dream that he represented Ireland, obviously, a number of times, including key qualification campaign for Euro 2016. So a really good night is ahead of us there. You can get tickets. We've got a link that we will put up in the show notes of this. And you can buy a copy of the book. So if you can't attend in person, we will sort out a book for you. You can order it through that same link. But if you do want to come along, it's the same price, basically £30. That includes a buffet and also a copy of and a signed copy of the book. And you'll be able to get a photo with David as well. And we're looking forward to that on stage at the Cladder Ring. So do support that. Be really appreciated. And that's our upcoming event in June, where obviously we will get his thoughts. Of course, one of the questions we will ask him is his thoughts on Caoimhín Kelleher moving to Brentford. Josh Keeley, the rise of Josh Keeley, which makes Conor very, very happy to talk about. And obviously the state of the Irish goalkeeper in general. Obviously, Bazunu suffering injuries. Will he come back and put up a bit of a fight to Caoimhín coming into the next campaign? So we're looking forward to that. So, as we said, we're going to have a look now at we're going to go through some of the teams that what the team we actually think we would like to see Ireland pick on Friday as we take on Senegal. But we will have a look. First of all, maybe it'd be good to have a look at Senegal's squad. Just that, Conor. Senegal, very good side. I mean, we've seen some comments coming in already, some kind of media coverage. They are taking on England as well on the Tuesday, and perhaps that is the biggest challenge for them, that they're obviously travelling to Wembley. But, a very experienced squad in a sense, some names that will be familiar to us, like Nicholas Jackson, of course, of Chelsea, and Mendy is obviously the goalkeeper. We spoke about this in the last show. I would say do go back and have a look at that last show that we did where we spoke about the kind of campaign in general, the window upcoming. But Conor, what are you expecting? You expect them to go strong against Ireland, or are they going to kind of hold something back for England?
I think I don't know, because they're so strong anyway, and it's like I think they'll be in the same position as kind of Ireland. Like, they won't want to really make a huge amount of changes, and you'd always want to get a good start to the window. And like I do see that like the Club World Cup starts next weekend, and the likes of Nicholas Jackson obviously will be travelling away to that with Chelsea. So I think he's the only player there, I believe. I'm trying to think, is there any other? Someone could say in the comments, is he the only player from from Senegal that will be traveling? I'm trying to think. Is there any other Senegalese players? Like, not on the top of my head, but there might be maybe one or two others. Like, will they? Sorry, just reading the comment there. So it's like, will he play against us on Friday and then travel off to America after that for the Club World Cup? Because it starts next Sunday. Chelsea play on the following Monday, but obviously they have to go to America for it, and I'm sure they want a couple of days training, so maybe he might just play against Ireland Friday and then go straight to America from there. And also Oisin says in the comments Koulibaly's going as well, so so that's two players. Will they play against us and not play against England, or will they stay with Senegal? Because the reality is it still will be a good few days between when they start, but it'll be interesting what way that work, because I'm sure the club teams that they're with probably don't want to see them play too many minutes in case they pull up with some sort of injury.
Yeah. So obviously we've Conor and David will be at the stadium on Friday doing the preview when the team's announced. So we're going to go through what we think is going to be the predicted lineup. So we'll go with, this is what I would like to see. Basically, we've gone through what we want to see, and then what we think will be the starting lineup for the game. So I think I'd like to see Kelleher in goal. I've gone for a 4-4-2. Doherty right back, Collins centre back with Darragh O'Shea, and then Robbie Brady at left back. Festy Abasele, Will Smallbone, Jason Knight, and Taylor on the left. And then I've gone with up front Ida and Ferguson as a kind of 4-4-2. But I think that's quite adaptable in a sense. So I'm quite happy with that. I think he is going to reward some of these players, like, for example, Smallbone coming back into the squad after missing the last one. Taylor as well, give him a chance. We know what Knight can do, but I think it's pretty solid, that one. So that's my thoughts on it.
But we want to see, what is your tactical masterclass reason of playing Jack Taylor on the left?
Why have I gone with him on the left? I just think they will. I can see it just. I think he's just going to try and pat that midfield. I think even Ferguson will maybe drop in a little bit behind, or Ida. I think, I can just see it just being like that. I've got no real problem with him playing the left if he plays there or not. I think a good player can play anywhere. I think Robbie will be pushing on a bit, and Festy and Doherty will play the other side as well. So I've just gone with that. I think it's giving minutes basically in game time to people.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Thoughts?
Yeah. No, that's fine. You can throw up mine now.
All right, and here's Connor's. This is Conor. Who believes he's got a voice in the camp. Do you want to go through it?
I am the manager, so going with the exact same back as 5 as such, kind of keeper as well. Midfield, I've gone with, I want it to be Festy, Taylor, Knight, McAteer. I want a bit of balance on the wings, people that can get up. Especially if we're going to play a 4-4-2, which we think is the settled formation for the time being anyway. I want men to have the legs that cannot just go backwards, they can go forwards. And even though McAteer really we haven't seen much of him in Ireland shirt, he has shown at club level that one of his best attributes is his athleticism to get up and down, and obviously we've seen with Festy as well. And then I have Ida and Parrott up front. I don't think we can go with Ida and Ferguson together. I don't think that's really suits. I don't think it suits the way. I think it's just too similar in terms of the way they are. Not much either really running in behind between the two of them. Well, it depends on what day you get Alameda on, but I think Ida and Parrott. Have we ever seen Ida and Parrott up front together for Ireland? We've seen Ferguson and Parrott, but I think Ida's goals will have put a lot of pressure on Heimer to start him this window. Obviously, we think that Heimer probably doesn't rate the Scottish League that much, but in fairness, we'd like to see Ida and Parrott. But if it's Ferguson with either two, I'm happy with either, but I'm guessing they'll leave Ferguson to start for the Luxembourg game just because of the lack of minutes, and maybe that's a better game for him to start.
Yep. Okay. And we're going to go with this is what we think Heimer will do. Yeah. So I don't think we've ever been right on this because Heimer, we predicted this in the past and we've never ever got it right. I think there's always a little bit of a shock that Heimer comes out with, but so this is what we think Heimer will actually do. So Kelleher in goal, Doherty right back, Collins, O'Shea and Brady. So that's pretty much the back four we did. Festy, Taylor in midfield with Knight and Manning on the left, and then Ida and Parrott. So again, going against the kind of grain of where I predicted Ida and Ferguson. I could see that happening as well. I just was a bit doubtful about Parrott's fitness, but I think what I would say about the whole squads is, I think a lot of them will get time, won't they? And we spoke about that in the last show as well, because I think that's important from this. And there's no point in having some of these lads in the squad if you're not going to reward them and kind of put them in, into the frying pan and see what's going out, what they're actually going to do. So that's where I think like Taylor probably deserves a bit of time. Manning as well. I mean, you keep bringing them into squads, you probably got to have to kind of chance him at some stage, don't you? Give him a bit more time and see what.
I don't think it's not chancing him. He's played him left mid the last 2 games, so I think it's just we have to.
Do you think there's any chance of him playing Manning left back and going with Brady in front of him, just for that creativity part of it, where Brady is going to be a very creative force further forward?
No. Don't think so. I just don't, because if he didn't do it against Bulgaria in both games, he's not going to change it now, to be honest. So no, I don't think he will do that at all, to be honest. I think I just think it'll be depression of us seeing Ryan Manning on the left wing again. But no, I think Eden Parrott, I think probably will be the most likely one too. I know we're saying about Parrott's fitness, but the reality is he is going to start 1 to 2 games, and you're better off probably starting him the first game to see where his fitness really is at, and because of how well he's played for Ireland the last 2 games. So I think he probably naturally has to start. We don't know what Fessie's fitness is wise, but he did play almost 80 games, 80 minutes, a week ago for Istanbul. So we could at least get 60 minutes out of him out wide. Maybe they might think that if they start Festie, they can bring on McAteer for him. But I just see Manning starting out wide, which is quite depressing, to be honest. And I think I think the back four, I just don't see O'Brien getting a chance really over the settled back four as such for Ireland at the moment. In the second game, yeah, he'll start, but I don't think he'll start this game. And I think that Taylor will start over Smallbone in midfield, just for the fact that Taylor has done well off the bench when he's come on for Ireland, and Smallbone's barely played over recent weeks for Southampton. I think if Smallbone was playing week in, week out, I think Smallbone probably would have started over him, just for the fact that he's been put in that position by managers before, or even he could do something that he might put Smallbone in the number 10 role behind Ferguson, or behind Parrott, or behind Ida. But I just hope we don't see him there, because I think Smallbone is better deeper than he is as number 10 these days.
All right. Right, so we want to hear from you, the Raw Faithful. We're going to go through the comments now, but yeah, let us know who you want to see in the starting lineup. We've done ours, and been ripped apart as well for some of our selections and choices, and that's what it's all about. Healthy debate, very respectful debate as well.
Yeah.
But we want
starting 11 in the comments.
Yeah, I want to see your starting 11, and we can probably return the favor and say, why have you gone with that? So that's what it's all about, our show tonight. Right, we're going to get straight into the comments. Here we go. So Zed Leplin, any word on that fullback from Sunderland? What does he mean?
He means Callum O'Dowda. No, but we just don't know. We don't know what the story is with Cirkin. He pulled out of the England 21 squad through injury. So that means he technically can still play for Ireland. He hasn't been tied to anyone, but we just wait and see with him, sort of thing. We're not too fussed anymore, are we, Prendy? If he wants to play for us, he can play for us. If he doesn't want to play for us, move on.
And with that in mind as well, we come on to a certain Mr. Delap. Baylor says he seems like Delap is a write-off with the England in one of his bios. That's obviously Liam Delap, son of Rory, who has signed for Chelsea in a 20 million deal, rising to 30 million. They're going to pay it over a certain few seasons, of course. There's 30 million release clause to get him out of Ipswich. Yeah. Fantastic agent that lad has. That's all I will say. But lots of speculation. Obviously, during the week we did cover it on a previous show as well. So go back and have a listen to that, because we spoke. Heimer did speak to RTE, I think it was, said how he had met with Liam, and I think Rory was there as well, just to see. Didn't tell him to fuck off, was the words. So let's just see with that one. But I personally think the ship has sailed, and I think he will look to be an England player now. And Chelsea, following in the footsteps of John Terry, Mr. England, Mr. I won't say anything else about him. But I think that one's gone. Right, and we've got Kevin Gerard Corliss. Has there been any rumor about John Joe Patrick Finn moving after Stade Rennes went down?
No. It's a bit too early to know anything yet, but no, there's been no mention of anything as of yet. And I don't really expect him to get a move, to be honest, Stu Martin, because they got relegated and he wasn't really starting every game. So they'll probably look to keep hold of him, because he's probably a player they think that they can probably develop more over the next couple of years and then sell on for profit, because we expect him really to get promoted next season. But I guess we just have to wait and see.
Okay. And Gaelic Edits says Jack Morehouse, who's obviously from Man United, pulled out the under-21 squad. He was mega there on United's Hong Kong tour. Shea Lacey was decent too. I was told he's eligible. Do you know about anything about that?
Shea Lacey is eligible. Hopefully, remember we were asked about who'd be a wild card that we'd like to see in the World Cup next summer, and I said Shea Lacey, but Jack Morehouse wasn't mega for the 21s or for Man United. He done all right, but he was just all right. He wasn't. It wasn't like he was unbelievable. He was just all right. But Shea Lacey actually was very good. He was very impressive. But the thing is, it's very hard for Morehouse to impress. I don't know if you've seen any games, Martin, that I watched the two of them. The two pitches they played on were shocking, like, but I guess just the way it is, 2 postseason friendlies, like.
Yep. And Kevin Jerry called us again. Also, I was wondering, did the FAI choose to have the friendly on Friday, or was it mandated? Very difficult to get to Dublin from rural Galway in time for a match on a weekday compared to a weekend. I think they kind of dictated to a little bit by obviously international windows and dates and things like that. It probably was chosen by the FAI. I mean, it comes in this time of year, obviously end of season, holiday times and things like that. So yeah, it would have been an international window that was set aside. And so, yeah, it wouldn't have been dictated to too much, but I mean, they're just the dates that are available. So, and it is very difficult. We appreciate that. That's the infrastructure of Ireland, of course. It's not helping. But, and that's going to be the case, obviously, with our games where they are dictated to, obviously, the qualification campaign for the FIFA World Cup starts in September. Those games have all been set on kind of international window, and you'll set them times now. It used to be a time, didn't it, where we used to be able to negotiate where we played in our group games and did little inside deals, double headers and things like that. But now, to get the most out of the TV money, they do that. And just on that subject, I think it's worth mentioning, a lot of people are asking us about the Portugal game and when that will be set as the venue for that. It's FIFA's qualification, or it's UEFA within FIFA, but it's the FIFA rules. You have to rely on that, and they have to give a certain amount of days before notifying. And the latest we will know is the 16th of July is the day where they will have to confirm. Some people said it was June, but it's not. It's actually July, as far as we're aware, that they will have to confirm where that game will be for the Portugal away game, which is in October. So that's just something for you to note. Baylor says, in one of your last pods, you guys were talking about players that should be fast-tracked. Surely Aaron Achea should be looked at, as La Liga 2 is a good standard and he's played loads of minutes.
Yeah, Aaron Ochoa, not Achea.
Ochoa,
yeah. Yeah, he is. Yeah, I think he was out injured there for a while, so I believe that's probably why he didn't make the under-21 squad there. But yeah, he's been excellent really for Malaga, and playing regularly in their first team all season, and was brilliant for the under-19s this year. So hopefully we'll see him at least in the 20. Well, we probably won't see him in the first team in September, but we'll see him in the 21s, you'd hope, playing regularly in Spain. And he's technically a brilliant footballer, a very low centre of gravity player that hopefully will be a future international for Ireland. So yeah, he definitely is one of the options you could say that could be fast-tracked in the senior squad. But it'd be interesting now how key of a role he has for Malaga next season.
And then just following on from our chat quickly there about the girls earlier. So Harrison Daglish said, hi, a brilliant winner for the girls. Hopefully the men can follow in their footsteps. And Nick rightly called me out and said, Saoirse Noonan scored last night, Prendy, not Emily Murphy. Yeah, which I also acknowledged earlier. And like the man in the orthopedic shoes, I stand corrected. Oisin Fitzgerald, here, boys, my team for Friday. At last, here we go. Kelleher, Festi, O'Shea, Collins, Brady, Knight, John, Joe, Patrick, Moran, Troy, Ida, McAtee. I reckon that would cause some issues for the Senegal.
Yeah,
he's in team, but he's obviously gone wing backs, has he?
No, he's going with Troy on the wing. He's going with Troy at the wing, Festi at right back. Yeah, he's going with Troy and Festi, and then Knight, John, Patrick, Finn, and then Moran is the 10, and then a front three of Troy, Ida, and McAtee. I want to see more people's comments. I want to see Celtics. I want to see Celtics and Harrison's team. They want to see starting on Sunday. Yeah. You can't be commenting like that with your opinions and not give us the team or Friday the team we want to see who's picked.
All right. And Kieran, we've spoken about that one earlier. That was just about the situation with the grounds. And then David Dunn, not the one from the under-17s today. I motivated Robbie. I'm a leader. That's obviously...
who's Robbie?
He's on about Robbie Brady.
Oh,
how he motivated him to all around. Harrison Daglish, I came across an online forum of Senegalese fans talking about their national side. Forget qualifying for the World Cup. They want to win it. They say this midfielder Camara will join Bayern Munich.
Interesting.
There you go. And then Nick agrees. Lamine Camara, yes, he's a pure baller. Do we know his XG and all that stuff? David Zahn says, I am Conor, I am. Kieran, Conor, if you had to pick one, Arazi or Uma?
Uma, I think, but it's too early to predict either, but both are absolutely outstanding.
Right. Okay. And Harrison Daglish, one Senegal fan noted, Dio Jackson Sarr in attack. This is the hottest striking force Africa has ever seen. I translated using Google Translator. Very good.
Is it?
There's a lot of amazing African strike forces over the years, isn't there?
Yeah, there is.
You know, Adebayor was incredible, wasn't he, at one stage?
Yeah, Drogba. I've recoasted some talent over the years and never done anything with it.
Yeah. Celtic Symphony. So you Poncer, slag off Ida every week on his podcast. Now look, you just get him on the channel for an interview and lick his hole. Where did we get him on the channel? When did we get him on the channel?
It was the press conference.
The press
conference. That was on the channel for an interview.
Thank you. Yeah, we're in charge of the FAI press conference.
We don't choose who goes in the press conference.
Evening, lads. And Oshin says Koulibaly is going Connie. Oh, meaning going to the
Club World Cup.
Club World Cup thing. That's Mickey Mouse. Harrison, Jesus, they must be pleased easily. That Jackson has a touch of a donkey. And Harrison says, "Hi, Celtic, how are you? Who on the left?" says Nick. This is in response to my team. And then he says, Ryan Manning is inevitable. And I'm going to jump ahead to Jack O'Connor's comments. That team is absolutely no natural width friendly. Playing Jack Taylor on the left is like trying to fit a square peg into a round hole. He's a right-footed midfielder who thrives centrally, dictating play and breaking lines. Shifting him wide not only diminishes his impact, but also disrupts the team balance. Yeah, I get the point. I obviously get the point with that. Obviously, he's right hand side or whatever it is. But I just think I have put him out on the left on that team that I'm put out there. But I just think Heimer's gonna watch that PSG game, and they're just gonna rotate throughout the game and play in different positions and be difficult to mark. Connor, that's my take on this. Yeah,
like
a good player should be playing everywhere, shouldn't they? We don't need balance. Let's just go for it.
When Iniesta used to go out to the left for Barcelona, that's what Jack Taylor's are. Iniesta.
Yeah, that's it. No, I just think they will be a bit of rotation in there as well. But yeah, look, I think sometimes as well, it's going to be very interesting. I think we will have to pack that midfield a little bit and get the kind of balance right. And that's where I could even think, Ida perhaps, make it a 5 across in a sense. Callum Robinson has come in there for Ireland and played on the left a little bit more, that side, just to get that balance. I wouldn't be surprised if anything in that it wouldn't be a regular 4-4-2. And then, Tom Webb, he said, surprised neither of you went for O'Brien at centre-back ahead of O'Shea. He played there against Bulgaria at home. Also, O'Brien's a real threat in both boxes. Why haven't you picked O'Brien?
Because I think Dara O'Shea's better at the moment. I think Dara O'Shea's earned the stripes. Yeah. I think the Bulgaria thing was kind of a rotation thing for centre-halves as well. It wasn't that, he had to play and Collins was our captain and he was never going to be dropped. So, especially the thing is, we really thought that tie against Bulgaria, we had it wrapped up after winning the first leg. But no, if O'Brien played over O'Shea or whatever, or played it right back instead of Doherty, I'd have no complaints over it. But I would just personally rather Dara O'Shea there.
So again, just to give us out your comments, what you think, who you want to see play. But we're going to put the squad up again here because I think this is important to chat about. Is right, goalkeepers wise, we've speculated. We know that Quiveen will start the game, but we do want to see a goalkeeper, I think, or even both of them the other two play some part in this kind of camp. I think it's important with Bazuna's injuries, as I mentioned in the previous pod. But with regards to the back defenders, I can see every one of them getting time in this camp. Brady, Collins, Matt Doherty, Honohan, Jake O'Brien, Andrew Obamadelli, and Dara O'Shea and Liam Scales. I can see them all getting game time. Yeah. I think from our midfield there, we've got it up there as well. I think, inevitably, I can't see everybody playing here. And because we don't know if any of them got knocks or whatever like that. And, is he going to give cap straight away to people? Like, is he bringing all those new players in and going to go, yeah, you're definitely getting a cap? But I think the defenders, they will get time because I think they have kind of earned that in a way that they've been there, and it's not too bad, I don't think. So
be interesting if Manning starts at left back in the second game. Be interesting if he goes with him at left back in the second game, which I'm curious to know. Will he put back in his natural position for the game. That's more of the what we'd say experimental game as such. But are you you're not really experimenting playing a left back at left back, but yeah, it'd be interesting if he puts him back there for what you think he's better like.
Yeah. Oh, of course, yeah. So Celtic says, where's John Kenny? Connor, if he's so good, of course you pick Ida true colours.
I never said Johnny Kenny should be in the squad, Celtic. Just like him. I just think he's a good player, but doesn't mean I think he should be in the squad. And yeah, true colour. I love Adamida Celtic. You know how much I love Adamida. Picked my favourite Irish player.
Jeez. Harrison then says, Senegal fans think Gay is past it. The future is Lamine Kamara. Jesus, I think we'll get smash remorse with the way these young lads are talking. I don't know. If you're reading off a Senegal football fan forum about, I've got to try and word this correctly. They're very passionate African fans about Liverpool, Man United, everything like that, but they most get carried away about everything, and it's obsession with individual players and wanting to be the ones who kind of discovered them or rave about them, be the super fan for them. So a little bit like you are about certain players, and maybe I am as well. But Jack O'Connor, Ryan Manning is a perfect fit at left wing, natural left footer, excellent crosser, smart mover. He gives width, balance, and bite, way more suited and forcing someone like Jack Taylor out there. Okay, thanks for your feedback on that. Harrison Dalglish, doesn't that Lenny Yoro play for Senegal?
No,
the Man United centre half.
Plays for France.
Harrison. No, he doesn't, Harrison. You dope. And Nick says, no, Harrison, he's French. And then Harrison says, okay, thanks, Nick. Plenty of French footballers are African, it seems. Well, one of the most famous French footballers, put in his place by Roy Keane, as we mentioned in the last show as well, Patrick Vieira. Should have been playing for Senegal. East Coaster, would like to see Andrew Moran given a chance. We're crying out for an attacking midfielder. Here we go, Connor. Your time to shine.
Play him. Play him. No, my king. Play Andy Moran. Yeah, I want to see Andy Moran play. As I said the other day, my prediction for the window, Andy Moran's going to come on and make a huge impact in the game that we're going to draw 0-0 for this last ditch tackle. No, but I can't wait to see Andy Moran shine this window. He better start the second game as a number 10 anyway. If I see him playing out in the left or playing out in the right, I'll be having words with Heimer. But maybe Heimer could go bold and play Parrott up front or Eid up front and play Moran behind them on Friday night. And Repchak will be a happy man.
There you go. And just to say a big thank you, big shout out to you for your interaction this evening. We've still got some comments to go through, but almost 1,400 of you watching this evening, which is amazing for our preview. And just want to emphasize again, Friday, just before kickoff from about 6:30 inside the stadium, Conor and David will be on.
We'll be live at the game's 7:45 kickoff.
7:45, yeah.
We'll be live at 6:45 then. So it's an hour.
6:45, an hour before kickoff. Better than Sky. The team comes out. The lads are on. We're going to hear why Robbie Brady is the International Player of the Year from Dave. We'll see an apology from Dave on the show.
Do you think Dave wants Robbie Brady to play bad on purpose so he can slate him and just go with his agenda that he's finished?
See, Dave takes things very, very literally. So he wants these things to happen so he can prove his point often. And I was sat with Dave in the press box once and we watched Callum O'Dowd, and I was very scathing of Callum O'Dowd, which you might be surprised to see. But ever since, Dave has judged O'Dowd on my comments on that 20-minute me analysing how he wasn't brave enough to go forward, and he's never let that go. So Dave likes to see certain things sometimes and never let it go. That's just that little rant off my chest. Right. Oshin says, here lads, I was talking to a few boys yesterday and that Morehouse pulled out because he's had second thoughts about playing for Ireland. England are in his ear, Connor. England are in his ear, and that's his preference. Do you reckon that's true?
Probably not. Probably not. He has been carrying a knock for the end of the season, missed a good few games, so it probably explains why he's probably not in the squad, because he probably isn't 100% and is better off getting ready for the pre-season with Man United's first team, which is more important really for the rest of his career. Like if he can press in pre-season, when I don't know, get a chance, but he'd probably go out in low next season. That's when he'd probably become more of a key player for the 21s, because if you're playing first team football, that's what Jim Crawford really wants in a 21s international.
Yeah, I'm going to find out on that. I'm going to ask a few people I know. I mean, we've got to remember that Paul McShane is at Man United as well in some capacity, definitely doing coaching there. He's also with the under-21s. So, I don't know if Paul McShane's going to allow that to happen. John O'Shea as well, very close links with Ireland still.
Don't worry, it's not. Someone's just saying it. Someone's just telling us, Shane. Someone's just because when these things happen, people always fear the worst when a player pulls out the squad that's not born in Ireland. So
and they're dual eligible. So yeah, Nick, true Harrison, but I think he's of Ivorian heritage, not Senegal. Okay, Jack O'Connor. I miss Dave's witty banter and devastating repartee tonight. Okay,
I don't.
Thanks very much. We don't. We're hearing enough of them on WhatsApp today. How do you say that name, Connor?
Do you know, Locke?
Locke. No chance. And then he says Etu. Very good player. Saw him in the Champions League final, score against Man United in Rome, actually in that stadium with the running track. Yep. Well, Harrison says Danny O'Neill. Nick says Drogba and Kalou have got to be the best as an African forward line. Harrison Dalglish, great to have your team with us. So Kelleher, defence, Doherty, Collins, Scales and Brady, midfield, Knight, Cullen, Ebasele and Manning, and Parrott and Ida up top.
So, we never thought of Liam Scales actually because probably because we just don't think he should be starting really. But the last time he was fit, he has started all the games for Ireland. And do you remember Finland away? We played Darrow Shea right back, and then we had Collins and Scales at centre half, and then Brady left back. It would be interesting if he'd be tempted if he could be a manager that if he has a left-footed centre half, he might really want to persist with it. But I don't think he's that type of manager. I think he cares more about being solid rather than have a left-footed centre half for balance. So, yeah, I would probably just wouldn't think Scales start, but no, it's not a terrible suggestion by Mr. Harrison Dalglish.
Although Cullen's not in the squad.
Oh, you put Cullen. Oh, sorry, Harrison Cullen's not in the squad.
I mean, that's a worse shout than me putting Taylor out wide. At least I pick someone in the squad.
Harrison,
sorry, Harrison. Danny says hi. Locke says that's the worst 11 I've ever seen. And then Celtic says to me, can I name 5 Senegals without looking, to be honest? No.
Cool.
No.
Can you not?
I can't. No. I've no interest in the opposition. I don't ever look at the Irish opposition. I don't need to know about them. I focus on Ireland. I've no interest. Seriously. I probably would struggle. I've no interest in it. That's me as an Irish.
You could name 3 anyway.
Sarr, Mendy, Jackson, Yara.
Yeah, one more. Come on. We said him right. I'm going to the Club World Cup.
Oh, Koulibaly.
Yeah, see, you do, Faye.
There you go.
Hey, go on, Prendy.
It's not even me. There you go. I honestly, I look at kind of the star. I watch these kind of previews. I listen to Conor. He tells me all I need to know about Irish football. That's why we do the pod. And also the opposition. I'm too lazy. Like many Irish fans, I have other interests when I go to the games. And I focus on the Irish team. No, but I'm saying I don't really have much.
Yeah, I know.
I wouldn't know what clubs these lads are at, half of them. Evening, lads, says the Irish ABA. Unrelated question, but are we not meant to have a new kit soon? Even so, my hopes are low for anything decent. I would think they will put a new kit out to go into the World Cup. So that will be September, October is when that's when they'll launch the new kit. And the frustrating thing from that will be that probably won't be able to get it. There'll be limited supplies of the bloody thing. No, but what is annoying with that is what used to really piss me off was, have all the Premier League teams now will be bringing out the new kits and everything like that. Everyone's going to be buying those. And then we should have our kit out now. Just go for it. Get it out there early. Get it on the backs of Irish kids.
What always happens? Do you know what happens, Martin? It always happens that they announce it like the week we play, say, Hungary on like the Wednesday. Say the match, I don't know what day the match is on, but it says the Friday. They announce it on like the Tuesday or Wednesday. But it's not available in stores till the next Monday.
Yeah.
So people don't get to buy it before the game. But obviously that's not the FA. It's Castore, obviously. The thing is, I actually quite like the jerseys. They are actually very nice jerseys. I know you probably think the same, Martin. The Castore jerseys are quite nice. It's just that unless you have like the match worn player issued ones, the quality is quite poor and they're just hard to get hold of like it. But if Castore was actually reliable for getting hold of jerseys and they didn't fall apart, you'd be buzzing with them. But I'm hoping they just release a nice top come what you'd say, what maybe you probably say this August is really when you probably want it to be released, because a month, or even the start of September when we start to think of the international window. But like, you don't want it released the week of the international break. Like,
no, it'll be interesting to see when they do it. I think it probably will be around September. I think it will be that week. That's how they normally do it. And obviously I thought the women's kit looked nice last night. They wore that, didn't they? I thought it looked all right. I've often been critical of the FAI. We lost the shop outside, didn't we? The back of the South Stand next to Lansdowne Rugby Club, where you had to go and get shirts or whatever like that. That's not there any longer. But there is actually a shop in the West Stand lower, where you can buy shirts and things like that. So I was often critical of that, but I discovered that was actually open, and saw things that I'd not even seen online in there. So I still would be critical of them promoting things. But if you do go on Elvery's or Lifestyle Sports websites, they don't seem to advertise it properly, all this stuff they have, because sometimes there's some really nice things come out. And I've seen even with the lads, Heimer's been obviously in training this week and the players are there, and it's a lovely range and things. But I will tell you now this, the Raw Faithful, I've asked the FAI about some of this Castore stuff as well. They will never bring some of it out. It is literally limited to the players. That's how it works with them.
Because I did see when I was up at Abbotsford last week, one of the employees was wearing one of the new half zips they had, and they said it was just for employees only, or the team and whoever's surrounded by the team. And it is really, really nice gear, which is quite sad that no one gets hold of it bar them.
Yep. I mean, I had been in the kit room in Abbottstown. Very interesting place. Abbottstown itself is a very interesting place as well. I mean, we've got all that kind of sports memorabilia there, like from all the pennants and things that are exchanged. I mean, they've got little glass cabinets and things, some great displays. But again, I'm gonna give a shout out to Eddie O'Mahony from Ireland Football Shirts, soccer shirts. We do need an Irish Football Museum, definitely in Dublin, I think, or to kind of get this stuff out there. We lost a lot of stuff as well. There's tragic stories over that, dumping stuff from Merrion Square in a skip. I mean, crazy. Anyway, I digress. Where are we now? Yep. So this is low. I still play Ferguson over Ida. Ida is shite. Bring it back. And
Celtic won't like that.
Mexican lad from Rome playing.
Why? I'm guessing he means John Patrick, but last week he was calling him the French Irish lad, and then he realized, I think, that he was he's Spanish Irish. I don't know where he's getting Mexican out, because there's no Mexican lad for Senegal, so I don't know. Celtic, if do you mean John Patrick? Is it because he looks a bit Mexican with his skin tone and the hair?
Maybe. If you are watching tonight, 1,400, just over that of you. Again, thanks for your support. Make sure you have subscribed. Go on YouTube, subscribe. We don't want you being illegal. We don't want you getting in trouble. But do subscribe. It does help us out with the algorithm sponsors and things like that, so we can give you more and more content. As we said, we're all traveling over to Luxembourg. We are covering the game. We're giving you the opportunity to be interactive with us and give your views. So without a paywall as well. So, you get this for free and you can join us. And we're very appreciative of you doing so. Harrison Daglish. Actually, I will play Andrew Moran. I've been reminded since you added squad graphic to the screen. He has something different to his game. Someone who can play zippy passes and is creative. There you go. Another of the Moran faithful. And Loic says, doesn't matter. That team isn't qualifying. That might have been about Cullen. I know it will be 4-4-2, says Nick, but the squad really does suit a back five more, which can bring in O'Brien without dropping O'Shea. Festi's best position is right wing back. Okay. East Coaster, Kelleher. Here's his team. Kelleher, O'Brien, Collins, O'Shea, Brady, Festi, Moran, John Patrick, McAteer, Ferguson, and Parrott. Okay.
It's probably a bit difficult to go. It is, but it's going to be probably quite unrealistic to have your midfield two as John Patrick and Andy Moran against a team like Senegal.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind it. Andy Moran has shown, we've all seen with that England cameo, he came on in quite a deep role and picked up the ball quite deep and was playing half turn, playing a forward, which we do lack. But no, it'd be great to see him get it. It would be absolutely brilliant, Martin, if we seen the team at 6:45 on Friday, and Andy Moran was starting as the number 10 or was starting in midfield. I think we'd all be delighted with it because it's an example of how we're really taking a risk. And I know Dave's getting out about not experimenting enough, but that would be a prime example of experiment. We'll be giving Andy Moore his first start. So yeah, hopefully he gets minutes on Friday and then starts against Luxembourg. But you never know really what managers are thinking.
Yeah. And then Celtic says, look, Locke, Ida has more goals in the old firm than Ferguson has this season. Fuck off. Maybe if he did look like Ferguson, you'd start him. I don't know what that's about. Anyway, Alex, where's his Senegal fans forum? Harrison, I'll send the channel over to them and they'll come crying after the game on Friday.
The thing is, actually
tell them to subscribe.
Tell them to come and someone send it on Friday and have them crying in the comments and they'll be telling us how bad they were or something, that we cheated or something. So yeah, when we beat them on Friday. But if we beat them on Friday, I'll tell you that is some result.
It will be a result, yeah. I mean, look, they're very high up rankings in the world. They haven't lost a lot of games for a while as well. And like even as we're hearing from, I was on the show tonight. They're on these forums. They're very, very confident about what they're going to do, and whether that's delusional or not, they're a very solid side. They'll be physical, fast, and they've got some really good, talented players. So playing at high levels, aren't they? Conor, this is from Celtic, your mate. Conor, why was Moore in your preferred team then?
Wasn't he? I think it means wasn't.
Wasn't he? Oh, okay.
I think it's too unrealistic, Celtic, if you get me, with the way we play, style of football we play. I don't, but if you made my real preferred team, I wouldn't be playing 4-4-2, but I was trying to make it as in our system that we play, trying to fit it in, because I don't want to make it too unrealistic like that. Start putting players in, they've no chance of starting. But if I had to pick, but I'm trying to go off as I was Heimer Hallgrimsson playing a 4-4-2. It'd be very hard to fit Andy Moore in a 4-4-2 really, unless you play him maybe behind one of the strikers. But I think we'll go with two strikers.
Alex says, "Is it the Cyber Eagles forum, Harrison?" I'll just come on to that little bit of a chat. I can't find the online forum, Alex, says Harrison. I wiped my browser history.
What you be off to wiping your browser history?
Sorry, but it sounds familiar.
Is this David Dunn's burner account, is it?
Just don't get him started. Don't get him on about it. He'll be crying about his hard drive again.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Oh, dear. Wiping the history. Oh. Yeah, we really should do that. That is brilliant. But Gaelic Edits as well. He just brings it all back down to earth again. Not going to say too much, but I wouldn't be surprised Morehouse play for England from what I've heard at United. And then Celtic says, Gaelic, the only thing you've heard from United is the sound of the away fans at Old Trafford. You, what is that? You grabbler.
What does that mean?
I don't know. Stop pretending you are up to anything. Whatever you say, Mr. Selfie, I know plenty of. Says Gaelic Edits. And then Nick says, why would Morehouse even be good enough to play for England? Highly doubt it. I mean, we're talking about an under-21 Irish footballer who's at Man United who's just been on their Hong Kong tour. And then Oshin says he wouldn't care, from what I heard from some of my friends, 21, his dream even to be considered for England. Okay. So,
and then Alex said, he wouldn't be playing for Ireland. Exactly, that was his true dream. He wouldn't be playing.
Yeah. Alex, sure, I'll throw it in the forum so they can come over here crying.
Good man, Alex.
And then Gaelic Edit says Oshin fits. Zip it. Sorry, Spanish. This is where I like
Spanish and Mexican.
Oshin Fitzgerald, good man, Celtic. Are we heading for a bit of gargle before the game on Friday? Do let us know as well if you're going to the game on Friday, and also if you're traveling to Luxembourg, because again, we are very open to you meeting up with, well, within reason. We'll meet you in Luxembourg, right? So if anyone is on here is going to Luxembourg, let us know, and we'll definitely try and meet up at some stage. We're all there.
We'll be at the pub, you'll be at the pub anyway. Sure, you'd see us at the pub.
Sure, of course we will. Yeah. And come up to me and see if I can name 5 Senegalese players or 5 Luxembourg players. I can tell you, I certainly can't name 5 Luxembourg players. Celtic, I'm not watching this anymore. If you start adding Senegalese, I'm not falling for a scam call. No way.
What does he mean?
If you start, meaning if you add in Senegalese fans from the forum.
All right. Don't worry, Celtic. You can just argue with them in the comments anyway. You can tell them to stay away from us.
And then Harrison, is there a Senegalese football podcast? It'd be interesting to see their perspective if you did a podcast with them.
What language do they speak in Senegal?
Yeah, I don't know. French.
Is it definitely French?
I'd imagine they must speak French because that's where
it is French. It is French.
Yeah. The lad who lived in King's Shadow.
It says Wolof is widely spoken as the first or second language.
Okay.
So about 15 to 20% of men and 1 to 2% of women understand French. English is taught as a foreign language in many graduate schools and secondary schools. So they all have decent English and Wolof or whatever they pronounce it.
Okay, nice one. We learn something every day. See, there you go. Celtic says, "Sorry, Oshin, unless you're in the Swindon area, I can't. My daughter has a squash match that afternoon." Okay. And Harrison, I'm not going. I live in Hull. I'm working in Hull.
Oh, that is Hull City.
And Oshin says, "I don't know if I want to meet you in Luxembourg. Conor will start quizzing me on under 17 players." Listen. We're gonna have a good crack in Luxembourg.
I don't believe Oshin. He will be in.
We are gonna have a good crack in Luxembourg. I mean, 400 Irish fans, I think, are heading over to Luxembourg. So we're obviously delighted to be going on that one as well. And just another little point I want to make regarding tickets for the Senegal home game. If you're not able to go, give your ticket to someone who will go, because it's really important with this new point system for the FAI for qualification. For match tickets in future for World Cup and stuff. You get points now if you're a season ticket holder. So make sure that you have activated, even if you don't go, get someone to activate your ticket so you get the point. Very important. That's a little one for you. We're going to wrap up soon, but we want to get your score predictions before we go. So just quickly throw a few comments in there. Everybody who is watching us this evening, nearly 1,500 of you watching. Thanks for your interaction and fun on a Wednesday night. And even a little bit of abuse as well. But yeah, so give us your score predictions before we go, and make sure that you do jump on Friday for the pre-show with Conor and David live from inside the stadium. Enjoy the game if you're going, of course, as well, and be on it here as well for after the game. We'll be live having a chat about the aftermath, where we'll also cover what else is happening in Irish football, of course, and is everyone happy and what the fallout of the game will be. Jim Bear, comment here. What young players would you both like to emerge from the summer camp to become starters this fall for the World Cup qualifiers in the fall?
All four of them. No, I think John Patrick or Killian Phillips is probably the obvious one. Or maybe Andy Moore as well, but I'm trying to think of the new call-ups, probably because of the midfield. We want to see someone really, as I said to you, I think the biggest thing is I want someone in this window to grab a hold of a position and make it their own in midfield, because it's try and break up that partnership between Cullen and Knight, which we've seen for the last year and a half really, or ever since really John O'Shea has been manager, so or came in as this interim. So I'd want to see maybe John Patrick get really a hold of something, or Killian Phillips in midfield, or Andy Moore and even in deep midfield or as a number 10. So it'll be, I think, because we don't really know, because there's a lot of lads maybe that we might want to see came into the squad, like even like a Rocco Vata, a Millie Ali, like winger wise, but they weren't picked because of when they finished. They won't finish the season so quite late, but yeah, I just want to see one or two, probably the 2-3 midfielders in the squad really take hold of it.
Right. Just a quick question I've got for you then, Josh Honohan. Do you think he'll get any game time?
Yeah, I think he'll come on in the second game. I think he'll come on off the bench. I think Brady might start the first game at left back, Manning the second game at left back, and Honohan will, Josh Honohan will come on. I think off the bench. I think that's what they'll do to him, just to give him not put too much, because there'll be a lot of pressure on him if he starts.
Yeah, of course. But brilliant again for the League of Ireland profile, isn't it? Like fantastic. He does get a bit of time. Not just for that, of course. Right, so score predictions. Nick goes 1-1. Jim Bear goes draw 1-1. I think I said 1-1 as well. Conor, what's your prediction? Oh, no, you went 0-0, didn't you? How about you want 0-0 with an Andy Moore and slide tackle?
Slide tackle at the very end.
As a magic moment.
That's a moment of magic.
Oh, dear. Right.
I've changed my prediction. No, I've changed my prediction. We can, after we go through them, I'll give you my new prediction.
All right. Jack O'Connor has gone 2-0 to Senegal. Harrison is even more pessimistic with a 3-0 win for Senegal. Nick, rightly so, calls them out. Our lads, we're not that bad. Celtic Symphony says, don't know any Senegals but Osimhen, so probably 1-0 to the Irish. Aren't you impressed, Celtic, with my knowing the 5 players at least off the...
Martin.
Yep.
Osimhen.
Oh, no.
He's from Nigeria.
I know. We have to let these things go sometimes. Sometimes just let things slide.
Celtic Osimhen is not from Senegal. He's from Nigeria. He won't be playing on Friday night.
Alex, good man. He's gone for 2-1 win for Ireland. And then E has gone 2-0 to Senegal. But if Pantella recovers from injury and is in the team, could be 3-0. And Celtic says, who's Pantella?
Celtic, do you know your good mate Rolling Stone? Would you like to have an argument here or there? What? It's Evan Ferguson, as he says that Evan Ferguson still hasn't recovered from his Pantella injury.
Brilliant.
So maybe that is Ferguson. He is Ferguson with his Pantella. Yeah.
Wish the lads everything, all the best. Obviously, watching along from their hotel rooms.
Hope they're enjoying. But Martin, do you want me to know my new score prediction?
Yeah, go on then. I'm going to predict. I'll predict you're going to go 1-0 Moran.
1-0.
Yeah.
Maybe not more, but maybe get the assist. But Celtic is there in the comments, and Jack O'Connor is there as well.
Jack O'Connor, 2-0 to Ireland. Good man. And then it's Pantella, the Spanish midfielder. Oh, it's Ferguson. I'm not sure what he's injured from sitting on his.
He's Celtic. Before we leave, I want to hear your starting 11 for Friday night.
Yeah, come on,
you're the only man to give you your starting 11, and you can't just play Adam Ida in all 11 positions.
We can put up the squad if you want us to help you as well.
Yeah, I'll pull up the squad. We'll pull up the squad here, and you can give us your 11.
Yeah.
Where's the squad? Here's the squad for you, Celtic.
There you go.
Go on, give us your 11.
We need your 11.
All right.
Here we go. I can't wait for this. This is why we're the most interactive football podcast out there. Right, I can't wait for this. Right, so yeah, look, I've gone for 1-1 in my prediction. You now gone for 1-0.
Dave went for 2-0 loss.
Huh?
Dave went for 2-0 loss.
Oh yeah, he did. Yeah, Dave was right.
Also, by the way, that's the old squad. That's the old squad with
Spodix
and. Do we have the new squad up?
Oh God, no.
Yeah, we do. Sorry. Celtic, that's
there we go.
Squad. There's that sexual squad.
There you go. Yeah, that's right. There we go.
That's just not... Jack O'Connor has a message for Dave.
Okay.
I hope you're watching, Dave.
He's got to do some. He's got to do some work for me, Dave.
Fix that badge.
We will also apologise for starting a little bit later this evening. Apologise for that.
Yeah, but
Dave, step out, lad. Jesus.
Yeah. Where's
so that is the squad, of course. Celtic, come on. Oh, here we go. Right. I mean, this is breaking news. We've got Casey Keller. Kelleher, Brady, Collins, Doherty, Brian.
So I'm guessing. Do you want Doherty playing centre half, Celtic, or do you want him playing right back and O'Brien as centre half, or Brian as centre half? But just to let you know, Celtic, you see you're struggling to know who the midfielders are. If you want to guess, Patrick Finn and Smallbone as your midfield too. Yeah, that's the Spanish lad and Smallbone, the Mexican lad. Who would you put in the wings, Celtic?
Brilliant. This is
the wingers might come up.
This is it. Everyone is invested in this, and
obviously Brian as centre half.
He's massive.
Yep. He has played right back a lot for Everton, though, Celtic. He's proved it.
he has. Yeah.
Size doesn't matter always. Yeah, so we're waiting on the rest of Celtic's team.
Yeah, I think that's it. I think he's that confident. He's going with that. And while we're waiting for, here we go. Patrick Finn hasn't washed himself in over 5 years, apparently.
What the fuck is this?
Oh my god! Right, we've got to leave that squad up because we have to help Celtic for is the rest of it. Unless we're going just with 6. But yeah, just while we're here, make sure you have subscribed and thank you again for your over 1,500 of you watching this evening. It's been great fun, and that's a little bit what we're about here on the show. We want to keep it light and have a good crack. Oh, here we go. We're on. Oh, I'd go Adam the Parrot.
Who's Adam the Parrot?
Maybe McAteer. Maybe Ebosele and maybe McAteer. Don't know him.
So his that's actually not a bad. Fairness,
to not a bad side.
That's not a bad side. That's not a bad side. That's good balance there. With Smallbone and Patrick Finn in midfield and Ebosele and McAteer on the wings, and then Adam the Parrot up front. Yeah. We'll play with 10 men. Adam the Parrot can do 2 roles.
I was just looking at my notes there. I'm not sure on the previous show if I actually, and people say, backtracking now and putting Taylor because of the criticism he gave Taylor, but I think I might have gone Casey McAteer on the left on the last show in our predicted team. I'm not sure.
Yeah, but Dave put too much pressure on us trying to get us to do our preferred 11 on that show. Well, we didn't need to do our preferred 11 on that show.
Yeah, exactly.
Because he knew he wasn't going to be on tonight to get his opinion in. So Dave can do one. We're better off without him.
Yeah, and I think as well, just for Dave, I think let's just put this up one more time. This is the Ireland Player of the Year, Robbie Brady, who was retired. Like he done a Stephen Kenny and Martin O'Neill have tried to retire several players for Ireland over the years, and Dave has tried to retire Robbie Brady, and he's now also trying to do it with Seamus Coleman as well. So, and this is the best one because he's retired a player who has then come back and won the player of the International Player of the Year. I think that's absolutely brilliant to see. Right, thanks everyone. Make sure you should be,
question for the fans.
Should Dave be banned?
Absolutely not.
Oh, get out of here!
Who's this guy? Get out of here! See what happens. See what happens when I leave you for a couple of minutes.
I want to go to bed. You're going to keep this going.
No.
20 minutes now. Look, special guest.
This is the real podcast. This is the real podcast. Now we're starting.
Look at this. Listen, I'm fucking presenting.
And you, Jack Conor. You can't even. And you, Jack Conor. How about your puns?
He did. Wait, he said, "Is this true, Dave? Is this true? Can you confirm?"
Actually, it's only 4 years, Jack. So there you go.
Good to see you, Dave.
Good to see you too, lads.
How you doing,
Hello,
Dave?
Celtic, everybody. Just checking in on you. Dave, step out. Oh no, I've just stepped in. Yeah, we all well. We all behaving ourselves. We all ready. I'm getting ready. I'm up at 4:30 in the morning. Lads, just fly out to Dublin.
Oh, nice one.
Oh wait, you're not going, are you?
I don't want to bring the mood down, but I've got a funeral to attend. Sorry, Dave.
Yeah, Dave.
I don't think that's to me, man.
You think you'd have better manners, that?
Yeah,
isn't it? It's just rude.
Yeah. Well, I've just been listening to you, pair of feckers, for the last. I was on a train that smelled like shit, and no, Jack, that had nothing to do with me. On the way home, good old TFL, but Lee, mate, bringing down the vibe. I only bring it up, chaps.
There you go.
But yeah,
back, Dave. That shirt. Look, here we go. Celtic. This is what he likes. That shirt is very smart, casual.
Thank you very much. Well, I am a bit of cash with a smart. Mostly smart.
Do you want more? Celtic asked me, "Is that a new hoodie?" No, it's the Lansdowne one here that reps the podcast. The rest is
and you can spot us. You'll be able to spot us in Luxembourg with all our merch.
And you can actually,
won't we?
Just that badge in person, Celtic, if you see him in Luxembourg.
Yeah, we'll have some stickers as well to go out in. And you know what? I'll put it out there now. we'll have some stickers out, Luxembourg. You know me, Dave, my guerrilla marketing campaigns. And the first person who sends me a photo of a Lansdowne Raw sticker on socials, then we'll arrange to meet him and he'll get me a pint.
Well, you've never given us any stickers.
I'll get me a pint.
You've never got
seen these stickers.
Why have you only got the stickers?
How? You have seen these stickers.
I haven't got any of them in person. I want
by the way, Celtic. No, I haven't been sitting there the whole time. I was coming back from work.
You weirdo.
He's deleting his browser history as. Did you see that comment earlier, Dave?
I did, yes. And thank you for bringing up my hard drive, Martin. I was very heartbreaking. I was very, still, English man giving away pints. Right.
Yeah.
Who,
Dave?
I'm not giving away anything.
Oh, who's Englishman? Me.
Especially the Jack.
No, Jack Morehouse. Jack Morehouse is coming over.
I mean, I think that's rich. I think that's rich coming from a fella whose first name is Jack. But anyway, sorry, lads. Martin, you continue. It's your show.
Dave, since you're on the podcast, we want to know what your preferred 11 is for Friday night.
I don't know. If you want to see that preferred 11, you can check the preview, the window preview. It's on there.
No, we don't know what that is. Just give us your 11 for Friday night. Just the fans want to know. Celtic wants to know. Is it the same as his?
My preferred 11 for Senegal. Obviously Kelleher. I think. Yeah.
Brian?
I think it was like Doherty, Collins, O'Shea, left back. It's going to be Brady, isn't it? The man who I inspired out of retirement. And also then a straightforward left. Either I think Casey McAteer on the left with Ebicelli on the right, with not Cullen because he's not in the squad, but Cousin Will and Jason Knight, and then up front I would like to see Ida and Ferguson, the two big lads, and then maybe try coming on.
Not Adam the Parrot.
Adam the Parrot, yeah. I'd like to see those two lads because I think Senegal are going to play 4-3-3. They're fast, they're attacking. They're going to be a very physically strong side, and we need to put the two big lads on there up front. And
Would you rather Jack Taylor in midfield then, because they're going to be very powerful in midfield, and Will Smallbone is quite.
We haven't got the players to dictate it. We need to.
Not dictate a play, but to try and combat their athleticism a bit, because Jack Taylor is a lot more of an athletic profile than Will Smallbone is.
Yeah, okay, maybe I'll bounce your knowledge on that one. You know a lot more about more about the two lads than I do, but we need to play to our strengths as well. I think 4-4-2 is very good, very balanced. I know Casey's a bit untested on the left wing. I know he's a right-sided winger, but I think the two lads could switch over, cause them some problems, and play to the two big lads into the box.
If you're a modern-day winger and you can't play on both wings, especially when you're a right-footed right winger, if you can't play on the left in the modern times, usually is right-footers cutting in, struggle to go to the opposite side. So if he can't go to where usual people is.
Yeah, I noticed Jack here. He loves that whole homoeroticism, doesn't he? I think he's hiding something there.
I think he fancies you.
But, I think he does fancy. You know what they say about lads that give you a hard time? Like, they fancy you, don't they? I don't blame him. I don't blame him, lads.
What do you guess? Your
big shout, ask my guy. More like the glass breaking, more Stone Cold Steve Austin. I'll come in.
No, it's like the Undertaker. You know the Undertaker where the team song comes on, and then the boys looking around, he appears behind them in the ring without coming down the walkway.
I think so. What about yours, Martin? Yours would be the British Bulldog, wouldn't it?
Well, in wrestling,
your entrance thing. Dun, 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 dun,
do you remember them? What was it on? I'm a bit older than I. Was it on the Super NES, the wrestling game? That was brilliant.
Did you have
a Super NES?
I was a Mega Drive man. Genesis for US viewers.
WWE,
unbelievable, but that was brilliant. Yeah, Legion of Doom. Oh, we can't start chatting wrestling. Jesus.
No, we can't. It's too late.
The Hitman Heart and all that stuff. God, The Undertaker was my favorite. Yeah,
Brett was always my favorite. Brett the Hitman Hart, excellence of execution. Just like, well, except for me, I'm the same. Except I'm the excellence of execution.
If this video gets 10,000 likes, I'll hit David and RKO on Friday night and get that video.
Do you know what? If we got 10,000 views on this, I'd fucking take an RKO off. Yeah. I'll get some stills
on the concrete. It would do well. It would go very viral. First ever RKO in the Viva Stadium.
I tell you what. Yeah, you could just use the you could stand on the commentary desk.
Yeah, on the table smashes.
Yeah, I'd take one for 10,000. Anyway, but Martin, I'm gonna bugger off on this. I'm gonna let you take.
No, thank you, Dave, for popping in. Obviously, you might as well stay now to the end.
Right.
We are wrapped up, but thank you to the 1,600 now watching this evening. Appreciate your support. Make sure, as I said, that you have liked and subscribed to tonight's show. And should Dave be banned from the pod? That's a question that many people will ask.
Yeah, I can't believe you put that up there, Martin.
No, but in all seriousness, we've got it all covered for this international window. Playing Senegal on Friday. Looking forward to that. Don't forget as well, the under 21s are in action earlier on in that day as well. Who are they playing, Conor?
Croatia
away.
Hopefully that might be. No, it probably won't be streamed, but it'll probably be on Croatian TV and then on them websites that show matches. Hopefully on that.
Right, yeah, and then obviously we're off to Luxembourg for the early part of next week. So do catch us there. 400 Irish fans travelling. 3 of us are going. We're going to have a great crack on our travels to Luxembourg. Hopefully see the boys in green secure. I was going to say 6 points, but 2 wins. 2 wins. Not points. We spoke about that actually recently, didn't we? About post-match interviews with players in playoffs games going, yeah, it's brilliant to get 3 points. But no, just thank you for your support this evening. We're going to leave it there. Dave is the best. This is where it's gone wrong. This is where it's gone wrong. No, thank you. Here. Make sure you have subscribed. Follow us all on all our socials. And
just came on.
It just come on, did it? Right. All the best. Safe travels to anyone. Obviously, heading up to Dublin. And let's hear it loud. And use your tickets. That's my last tip of the day. Enjoy the match on Friday. And make sure you catch the boys for the preview show at 6:45 live from Lansdowne Road as Ireland take on Senegal. All the best.